And we're live.
Hello, people. Welcome.
Greetings.
Welcome to Mathsquad's The Burning Wheel.
It's on fire every week at this time.
Yes, the Burning Wheel, the ever-burning wheel.
I think Dave was a little jealous that we snapped up Mathsquad's Burning Wheel.
We were the first. We were the original Mathsquad Burning Wheel.
He was a couple months late.
I mean, he could also be Mathsquad's Burning Wheel. He just has to ask.
We've already sent the paperwork in. It's copyrighted. Sorry.
Yep. Patent has been filed. Our invention of Mathsquad's Burning Wheel.
Trademark.
Oh, there could be like a couple burning wheels, and then we just all be like Mathsquad.
Yeah, the burning wagon. The burning
Yes. Mathsquad's 18
wheels.
Yeah, we get a...
Or just like Andrew's burning bicycle, if there's just two of us.
Right. But then that has certain implications about like whom is pulling the wagon or something, and let's not get into that.
Well, Adam is pulling the wagon. That's pretty obvious.
I was aware.
So I just want to give a shout out. Thanks to Adam and Roll20 for sharing those Burning Wheel cards I made for everybody. I hope everybody has fun. The Duel of Wits is great, and we need more Duel of Wits, so bring it on.
They're good cards. They help with that. It was a fairly quick to understand thing when we encountered it. It was like
definitely hacks down the learning curve a little bit.
Yeah, using the card mechanics of Roll20 makes it pretty easy to grasp mechanically versus like just a list on a piece of paper.
I think that's why Luke loves to use cards. Like for Torchbearer, he uses cards when you don't need to use cards. It's just helpful to. I think in Torchbearer he released like the sort of card gears, like rather like equipment cards.
Oh yeah,
so they're not randomly drawn. Yeah, they aren't drawn or anything, but they're easy visual representations of mechanics.
That's something I've been trying to figure out how to move into other games. Like having those cards out in front of you and then like activating them after a certain amount of time to recognize that their effect has changed.
Yeah, because not all cards are necessarily need to be in a deck or need to be randomly chosen. Those two tend to be linked together, but they don't need to be. Deck building games are the entire based around those two mechanics.
Oh, there's also a variant I saw where you could just use a regular playing card set for encounter tables, where each suit is a certain type and each number is a severity type thing.
Oh, that's cool.
And so since it's a card deck, you could just say, "Hey, someone needs to draw a card. It's been X amount of time." So you can say, "Wasn't me, bro."
I do find it like local games having like the players have something in their hands, like that tactile thing.
Yeah,
definitely helps people pay more attention and stay involved.
Oh yeah, I have like this box of little glass beads that I pull out. Where are my dice?
I've never played a game in real life. I bought a set of dice, and it's sitting upstairs in a drawer, still unopened. I think that was 6 months ago that I bought it.
If you look at these dice I made for Fate, I literally carved them.
That's cool.
Nice.
So I could.
Can you move your hand a bit to your right? There we go.
Yeah, more in front of your face. There you go.
Yeah.
You can see that I'm just basically D6s. But like, it doesn't change how they roll, and it keeps the paint from rubbing off because it's not on the surface. Yeah. And it just feels amazing. I wish there was more like really textured dice out there.
Yeah.
That's too niche.
You should probably open up your dice, Primark, let it breathe. Otherwise, once you finally use them, it's going to hate you.
Yeah.
And you'll never be able to do anything.
Just set them all up with the highest number facing up. That way, the weight kind of balances out.
It has to be the highest number on the bottom, so that as it starts pressing down, it'll press down towards that highest number.
That's the other thing is like these dice feel warm in my hand, but the Fate dice that I bought are cold in my hand.
Are they both? Or is one metallic and one?
They're both plastic, but the temperature is wildly different. I don't understand it.
It's the love that you put into them.
It must
Yeah,
be. I can feel the love, huh?
Yeah. It's like the thing with Stormlight Archives, right? Like your set of dice needs to like adjust to you, and so like after that they're yours. Whereas those other ones, those are still factory made.
Yeah, they need to attune.
That's it. Yes.
Yeah, magic item attunement, just like in D&D 5e.
You think we're joking, Grammar?
This is gamer fact.
Yeah, I used to roll really bad, and then I accidentally stepped on one of my D20s and ground it into dust, and now they all roll really well.
Out of fear.
Maybe it's because they don't make them out of dust anymore.
Yeah, that sounds fragile.
First dice will blend, by the way. Just putting that out there on the internet. They will blend.
So, my phone is 100% done installing its system update. And it's stuck at 100% installing its system updates. I'm not sure it knows what 100% means.
Oh.
Weird.
Infernal technology, man.
So what's going on? We were fighting, and you were reading. And
Yep.
Yeah, fighting and reading.
Well,
things that are going on, isn't it?
but we also had some conversations afterwards, which I don't know if we're gonna. Is there a fun radio times first, or are we gonna?
We're just
yeah.
gonna get ready to it this week. I don't want to spend too much time dicking around.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Awesome.
no recap this week. Sorry, folks.
Well, let's give the audience a recap if they're just watching.
If you really want to recap,
Well, here's the thing: is that
Last-
nothing happened last week, except that
that's kind of the thing. So
we talked a lot.
Last week was mostly, okay, we captured a town. Now here's all of the fallout and consequences of two people with very, very different intentions of what to do with the town fighting verbally.
Yeah, so very, very quick recap. Last time on Burning Wheel, 4 nerds sat around telling stories and rolling dice.
There you go.
Yep.
We're gonna patent that. We'll put it on the end of every single episode.
That's it, yeah. Just take the recording from that and put it as the intro to every episode on YouTube. Okay, who would like to start with bits?
I can start. So I've changed my bits up a little bit because I think I'm going to be spending the entire time talking to this elf. So I thought I would make my bits relevant to, like, his judgment. So I started off with my philosophies are just, so I should demonstrate them without equivocation. Next belief is war is the most destructive to the peasants. So if there must be war, I will gather allies to end it as soon as possible. And finally, the only evil is the evil of man. This elf is as ruled by his nature as any beast.
So, to clarify that last one, you don't believe that the elf is any different from a wild animal, or is that what that means? Like,
Yeah, I'm not sure what.
We're trying to imply some subtle racism here. Like Edwin believes that men are evil because they have the capacity to think, and he hasn't really had that challenged as to the other, humanoid races.
Okay, so you think they're not evil because they don't have the capacity to not be evil.
Right.
Okay.
But as of right now, Edwin doesn't see the elf as a person, quote unquote. Like, he's
cool.
just.
I would say yes, but he probably does not realize it.
Okay.
Subconscious.
It's not a conscious thing.
No,
it's like,
fine.
This is an elf. Elves are as,
So
as in the legends.
if it's not a conscious thing, would it work better as an instinct? And so then you could just get in trouble with it, and that would work for you? Or like, what's the persona then for that? If otherwise,
that's true. Actually, you're kind of right. I just realized that sounds like the first part of a belief, and then what do you intend to do because you believe that?
It's like it's not an instinct because it's not action. And
it's not an if-then or anything like that.
Like he's not going to do anything. Like it'll be personable if the elf proves it that his nature, like he doesn't like consciously choose his actions.
So maybe a subconscious goal of yours that would want to write in would be just to how would we put this?
Like it's one of those weird beliefs that they put in that it's something your character believes.
Yeah, it's more just the ideology of the thing rather than an actionable.
I think like
which is more meant for fake grinding than anything else. So there might not be a persona at the end of the tunnel, but that's not a problem.
If there is, if it like comes up and like it becomes a point of the interaction between me and the elf. Like if it actually comes up and we have to decide whether or not Edwin believes the elf is capable of making conscious thoughts, and if like his experience with the elf changes his belief, then I think that would be personable.
Okay.
So how about if the goal is to interact with the elf and see if this is true?
So I guess you could have that as like the first part of his statement and be like, this is the first time I've seen an elf. I will use it to prove this, or something like that.
Or you can just leave it as is, and we can figure it out.
Yeah, I'll let you guys decide if it comes up in an interesting way. We can talk about it. It's like I don't care if I get either what kind of art that I get from that. I just think it will be an interesting. Like I've had this belief for a while, right? Like that all evil is evil of man, and now we have an elf here. I think we need to investigate what Edwin thinks about elves. I think it's relevant. Alright, instincts. I still behave in the same rational manner. I really thought about taking this one off because Edwin is like delving into his dreams and taking drugs, and these things aren't entirely sane. But I'm going to keep it.
Well, it depends on your definition of sane.
420
and your definition of a good time. I don't know.
Yep, so I left it on because of reasons like that. So the second instinct is always find a use for a good man. Had that one for a while. And instinct 3 I brought back when surrounded by darkness, light a fire. Because Zentropy's been talking about darkness a lot.
And
I like that.
You'll get some insight as to why probably soon, very soon.
Yeah. So my traits, I have your lordship, superstitious, know-it-all, stubborn, impetuous, prestige seeker, aloof, and the mark of privilege. That's it.
Okay.
I'm gonna be right
back.
there.
I will go next. Okay. So I have all the beliefs. And I changed one of my instincts. So my beliefs are: Matron's goals and methods seem to be contradictory to those of the organization. They must have chosen him for a reason. I will find out what he is hiding. I want to leave my past on the continent behind. To do that, I need to feel welcomed for who I am by the people of the Path Askew. For who I am, rather than for being Lord Edwin's representative. I am still a good person. Being responsible for the Duchess's death would be a line that I cannot cross. I will ensure that she survives. Then I have the loyalty trait, which gives me a fourth belief. I've changed this. which we normally don't. However, we've talked about it, and I decided that my previous loyalty belief was basically I want to get money, and I feel that this is more in line with the reason that he is working as a mercenary, not just I am a weapon to be used. When following orders, my actions are not my own, but rather of my master, Lord Edwin. Therefore, I will keep his cousin safe, despite my distaste for his actions. My instincts, I slightly changed my first one to, when angered, use force. It used to be, always use violence or the threat of it to get what I want, but I'm changing it to be slightly less specifically violent, rather just going to general forceful. It's easier for me to just use that for fate, because Ernest is a man that is fairly easily angered. Also, I could choose when he's angry. My other two instincts are always maintain my arms and armor, and never get enough sleep. I changed that one. I want those fort tests.
That's an interesting way to do it.
Yep.
Okay.
So, for those wondering, my health has been reduced, and one of his long-term goals is to increase his health. And as a player, I know that the way to do that is to just never sleep enough, and you'll be really healthy eventually.
And
That's
you
how
know,
it
you
works.
fail enough of those tests, you'll be stark raving mad. That's fine too.
True. My traits are loyal to Edwin Wilson, which is in brackets that word. Imperious and closed-minded. Those last two are cultural traits. Vindictive and stoic. Those are all my character traits. My die traits are light sleeper, which we haven't gotten into, but I do have the reasons to why. Same with never get enough sleep. Stubborn, broken, and sickly. And my only call-on trait is back-breaking labor. And that is it.
I just remembered also that Ernest has a wound carryover from last session
Tired. Yep. So this is going to be fun.
because of sleep failing.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I'm up.
Yep, you're up.
Yep.
So.
Okay. So I rewrote a few of my beliefs. I kept one of them. These are made with the implication that we're going to be doing a bit of a time jump or something.
Yeah, we're going to be picking up the pace quite a bit more this session.
Mm-hmm.
So, the winds and currents of life have brought me many opportunities. Limiting the natural flow of either is a detriment to me and mine. I will remove these limits where I find them. This is kind of like making sure order doesn't get too restrictive, I guess. Like, it's sort of like the late let chaos reign type belief. I'm trying to go, I guess, more towards Edwayne's beliefs to get more idealod type beliefs. So I'm not exactly sure what a persona for this would look like, but it's my attempt towards it.
When it becomes a situational thing, it's nowhere near as specific, but when the situation arises, we'll know it.
Okay. My second one, which I'm not sure is still about Ernest, but I'm not sure Ernest has heard this one yet. The world isn't black and white as Ernest perceives it. Chaos and order exist together. I will find the chaos in Ernest and show it to him.
That's cool.
Probably a lot easier with sleep deprived Ernest that's hearing things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. And then my last one is the same as before. Pathaskew could have helped us take back the city, but they didn't. The spoils of war are now due to me and mine, and we will take it.
So you still have an intention of taking filthy lucre from Path Askew.
Yeah. It also seemed like that was still open-ended from last session,
Yeah,
so
it
I
was.
kept it. So I changed one of my beliefs, but the other two are the same. So I still have never engaged in a fair fight. I just really like that one right now. And if my crew or boat is in danger, drop everything and help. The one I changed was the last one, which right now says like always lounge in high places, which I'm kind of on, but it's kind of like he doesn't like land. He has like all these traits about climbing and stuff. So like, and like before, I've sort of had him like just sort of nonchalantly lounge in some scenes before. So like, I'm like, why not just have him up high all the time? So maybe it's towards practice climbing. I'm not sure.
Either that or you just have some feline ancestry somewhere where.
Yeah. Yeah. It's more of a flavor instinct rather than a get me into trouble. But.
Well, it might end up getting you into trouble because when there's downtime, you say you make camp, for example, and you're up in a tree,
yeah,
and shit happens. You're up in a tree, like.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Cool.
It's like
right,
one of those Assassin's Creed games. You just gotta climb the highest thing in the city.
Yeah.
And then you gotta jump off. You have to jump off because you got nowhere else to go.
Yeah, climbing down is always harder than climbing up.
That haystack is totally gonna catch me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess I am getting closer and closer to Assassin's Creed. Well,
roll that die of fate. You gotta roll one. Then you're fine.
Yeah. So my character traits are problem with authority, predatory. My culture character traits are smells of the sea, calloused, and wanderlust. I have the die trait affinity for rope, and the following call-on traits: sea legs, iron stomach, and dexterity of the cat.
Cool. All right, so let's see. Where do we want to pick this up at?
I think timeline-wise, the first thing that might be happening, unless Matron does something before then, would be probably Ernest's speech.
Oh, yeah, sure.
So I think it's like 9 a.m. I think the next day. Ernest has stayed up all night.
Okay, one thing is Matron going to the speech, or is he off doing other crap? Just pointing out that Ernest is otherwise occupied, and if you wanted to loot shit, right about now would probably be a good time.
When Matron and Ernest last saw each other, Matron fled from Ernest. Ernest did not chase after him, and yeah, it was sort of
right. So I guess would Matron's curiosity of how the speech is going to go from a sleep-deprived Ernest over trump his desire to get all the loot.
But Ernest, remember, did take Matron's loot that he took before, or rather, Matron left behind. So now Ernest has 2 bags of loot with him, one from the soldier earlier.
With him, or like in his at his bar?
Sorry?
I thought Ernest returned that loot.
Well, I couldn't because I was a bit busier. So
you only had like
I need
4
to do
hours
something
to do
with
it.
that.
I remember something about Matron wanting to heckle Ernest's speech.
I don't know anything about that.
There's Matron in the back of the crowd selling rotten fruit. Well, I mean, you have the duration of Ernest's speech to decide what you're actually doing. If you're there and decide to start heckling him, you can do it mid-speech. If not, we can figure it out.
Yeah. Matron,
okay.
Roll the die. What does that mean?
I think it means I'm trying to get all the loot as possible.
Okay. So we'll probably have like a scene where like Ernest is like, and all of our soldiers are here to protect you on this day, and then we just like we cut to
He's like
smashing
big
open a door. There's like a couple of kids cowering in the corner. You're just ignoring them while you take all of their toys.
What's that? Tin? Rubbish.
Man, we like see at one point you're walking past a window and then you backpedal as you realize there's like a fresh apple pie cooling on the windowsill and you just take that.
Make was doing like the crouched over sneak.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so I don't think I'm feeling very tired, so I don't think I'm going to explicitly say anything as in first person as Ernest regarding the speech. But the
general gist of it. Just going to get the general gist,
which is probably worse for dice, but whatever. Because I'm definitely not getting a bonus for saying something cool. But basically, the gist of it is that when Ernest arrives, he surveys the people that are gathered there. I'm sure that he successfully put word out. Both him and Matron put word out that there's a meeting. So I'm sure a fair amount of the town are here. He has... Now, this is the interesting thing. I had a plan because I figured out what is up with Lord Edwin's cousin, Valerie, but he doesn't know I had, because it was all thanks to the guard. What I wanted was, Valerie to... What was my plan? Because I had a couple hours, and I can't read. And Valerie's very good at reading, so I believe my plan was to make Valerie give the initial speech, and then me to follow up. And I was going to tell him, I would tell him beforehand that is when I would say that he is in charge of the city, or reinstated as charge of the city, and then I was in truth going to do something else.
Okay.
So that is my plan. My plan is not actually to make most of the speech, because I'm not very good at that, but he is.
Is he a Chamberlain? 1 second.
I thought he was.
Chamberlain.
If he's anything like Peter Baelish.
Well, I think he might have like persuade and stuff, but you're really looking more towards an oratory type thing here.
For sure.
This is definitely a speechify.
Does he have oratory?
Some of the discussions I had on the TeamSpeak, like, they suggested he might also be a law officer or sheriff or something like that.
I think that was the captain of the guard. That's
like
let me look at town official.
Yeah, like
that.
Because that's one of the things that leads to Chamberlain. So.
Well, I do remember there was one. There was actually like dirty sergeant or something like that. Corrupt sergeant. Yeah, I think that's in Village. Yeah.
What is the name of this person?
There's. I found town official. If you're looking at
does it have oratory?
No, it's 169. Rule of law, persuasion, etiquette, interrogation, falsehood, and townwise.
Okay. That sounds like a mayor, or yeah.
Yeah. What else leads to Chamberlain? See if we can find.
We know that he has a Chamberlain.
I mean, we can just say he has oratory. There's
makes sense
general skill points.
Yeah, if it makes sense that he does, then.
Well, I mean, he's the type of person that, always has another idea, and he's got to be able to sell people on it.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, he's also a smuggler, so he has falsehood.
Yeah. Yeah. And he has, he can fork probably his falsehood if he is lying. I don't know if he's the one writing most of the speech. And he can totally, of course, fork persuade. Yeah. So my idea is to have him give the speech basically explaining what happened in that we're here, we're like sent by Lord Edwin. We're taking back the country. And then he would give the stage over to me. He thinks that this is where I would then hand power back to him. Instead, now, the thing is, I want to keep him safe. So I don't have him arrested. I have him arrested. Oleg, of course, Captain of the Guard, is also with me behind me on the stage. I have Oleg arrest him. I have Oleg take him under house arrest, which means he should be kept safe.
You're having him arrested publicly, or
publicly, because I believe that people don't like him.
Okay.
I'm like, we freed you from this, and I'm specifically aware of the terrible position you were in before this, so I'm also saying that I'm not like that person either. And then probably the only thing I really say myself, is that knowledgeable officials are on their way from, Ernest's father's place, and that, I will be sending a message to Lord Edwin himself, requesting that he return.
Alubarat. I think
Okay.
that's the place.
Alubarat? Oh.
Oh, Polyaborat. You almost have to. You almost have to say it in a Russian accent.
Yeah. Alubarat. Anyways, so I think, Ernest probably says 2 or 3 sentences in total, saying almost exactly what I just said. And then I probably be like, oh, one last thing. Some of our soldiers mistakenly thought that we were looting this town. We are not looting this town. Report anyone who has done so. Here are some bags of stuff. And I probably have some of the I don't just dump them. I probably have some of the local guards that are under Oleg, do the whole lost and found thing. Describe it, and if it's there, then they'll give it back to you.
Okay.
Otherwise, people just swarm it and be like, "Stuff! We've been so poor." So.
All right. Well, let's see how Valerie does with the first part of the speech.
So I'm going to summarize that in chat. Sorry.
Okay. So Valerie gets up, starts placating the crowd. Pretty much, she's going to fork in soothing platitudes and persuasion. And he assures them that all the soldiers are here. The Bryansk army has been sent away. The town will resume its normal daily life, and not to worry, because the man in the shining armor over there has he's on the case. And oratory is the average of the crowd in Will, I think. Memory serves.
Sounds right.
So that'll be 4. Oh no. Alright, well. Valerie is not helping you out too much, Spencer. Or
okay.
Ernest, I should say.
So that's the first part.
The crowd does not...
it's most common, not average.
Okay, it'd still be
the other average. Okay.
I mean, if it wasn't, it'd be 3, so it's still a loss.
That's a lot of 2s and 1s.
Yeah, that's 7 dice. That's
okay.
So
what does this look like?
Okay. Basically, he's getting a lot of heckling from the crowd, why should we believe you? You've been in charge this entire time, and nothing good has happened.
Okay. So I think that I let him continue with the speech, until the part where he, hands it off to me. And I think that I just continue with my plan, which is to suddenly say, announce that I've heard of these allegations against Valerie. And I just look at Oleg, and since we've talked about this before, I'm sure during the 4 hours we had, he probably steps forward to arrest Valerie. Put him under house arrest. And I specifically say that, to him and to the crowd, this is temporary until we know for sure what's going on, and that if anyone would like to come forward later this week to give more evidence for or against this, then please do.
So you're announcing some kind of inquest.
Basically, an investigation into Valerie, especially with the evidence that I just saw of him being so unpopular.
Others might describe it as imposing martial law, but hey,
yeah,
doesn't it's the other.
Some matrix in the back somewhere. That's martial law. It usually doesn't turn out too well. Some farmer in a straw hat goes, "Hell yeah, that's martial law."
So
that ain't no good.
I say that I've already sent words to Polio Borat, and that a more suitable steward will be on their way, and that I will send a message to Lord Edwin later today requesting that he return home. And then, as I said before, I then talk about the whole looting. I think he calls it a misunderstanding, the whole looting thing. And so, he gestures to two guards probably off. I think he's speaking from a gallows, and then there's no people hung because they were swiftly taken down, because that would be bad press, but there probably were during, while the occupation was there. And so it's like a liberated gallows that he's speaking from the head of, and he motions down to standing in front of, just in front of him on the left and right, on, the actual ground are two guards that are each holding, a bag of loot. And he's just just step forward and tell them what has been taken from you, and they will return it. So that's what he's going to try.
All right. I'll give you an advantage die for because the crowd wasn't too pleased with Valerie, and then you had him carted off.
So I'm also.
So they were with you a little bit there, and then.
Yeah. It's also oratory, right?
Yes, should be.
Okay. Now this is the interesting part. My will is 4, which means that I have 5 dice.
You get to 8?
And you're to get to 8.
To get to 8. I have 1 persona, so I'm going to fail this. Unless I roll lots of 6s. Let's do it. Observation.
This does seem like a situation where spending Artha would be beneficial.
I have no Artha to spend.
You may want to save your persona so you don't die when the crowd turns
exactly.
on you.
Precisely. Yeah. Always keep 1 persona on you so that you can turn a death blow into an
he's
almost.
Already standing on a gallows. A lynch mob could form at any moment.
So roll this. No modifiers. No Artha. Oh, no, yes, 1 modifier. No Artha. Base mob of 4, which will double automatically. Got a 6. I'm not going to bother spending a fate on observation.
Oh, wait. You were also tired,
but that was the. It says observation. It was oratory.
Okay.
I already have observation.
So the crowd basically turns on you and says, why should we believe some foreigner? I mean, the guy that was supposed to be in charge didn't know what he was doing. Now this guy, some continental, no less.
Yeah.
Is trying to step up and tell us,
Okay, so I think what happened is
this is like a Russian in the 1960s talking to a small town in Oklahoma saying, "Don't worry, bro, I got you.
Right.
We're all good. I'm just gonna run this for a while. No harm, no foul." Like,
Do not worry about red flag above town hall. That is not a problem.
Yeah, exactly. So Ernest is probably like, he's probably actually really nervous. You know what? Crap. Now, I want to lobby for one more advantage die that I'd like to roll postmortem because I am
Postmortem.
known.
That's a wonderful turn of phrase.
I am known here as Ed Wayne's representative. Like, I'm sort of his second in command, and I did spend 3 months here recently recovering, which he was by my side constantly.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I can give you
Don't
one.
do
more.
anything, but
Oh, look. 4 of 9 instead.
yeah. So
Well, at least now you're tied
It's-
with Valerie, so they don't hate you more than they hate him.
yeah,
Would-
exactly. I'm
would it be
as
possible-
unpopular as the least popular man in town. I'm not more unpopular than him, so I guess that's good.
I'm curious if the reputation you guys got might be applicable here. I don't quite remember the extent.
We do have a hostile Briansk reputation. Yes.
That's true. I mean, if you can leverage that somehow.
I don't know. Well,
just depends
we did
on-
literally just free them.
Yep.
But they appear to. I think what's happening is that they're taking out all of their frustration that they were too afraid to take out on the other guys. They're now redirecting it all towards Ernest.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. You came in and liberated them, sure, but I mean,
They still need food.
they still don't feel safe.
Yeah.
Is the issue. Like, this happened once. This town doesn't have walls, and they know that it's mercenaries that came and did this. It wasn't
Yeah.
like
It's not. There's no soldiers. So yeah, I think what happens is that by the time Ernest is trying to say that like soldiers from Polyborad are on their way, real ones, he keeps getting interrupted and like basically it's like almost a town hall meeting where people keep talking back to each other.
Yep.
Ernest is not good in front of a crowd. He is a slow speaker. He is. It devolves into. Probably at one point he just like says like one final thing. Let's see that. He probably says the last thing he says probably like I will be writing to Lord Edwin later immediately to request him to come home.
Right about then is when someone throws a shoe.
Yeah, and then that's when. Hey, shoes are expensive.
Yeah, and they didn't like you enough to throw one of their expensive shoes.
Exactly. So yeah, that's when Ernest just like sort of ends the meeting and goes, I guess, to hang out in Ernest's mansion, Ernest's villa, and figure stuff out.
Okay.
What are a few of the things he does? What?
What can I ask? Is like my mansion or has my townhouse been like looted as well?
I don't think so. Like the Bryansk army seemed to take provisions and send them off, but they didn't really take anything of known value.
Okay, cool.
Like food stores are low. Stuff that would help you survive the winter is low. But as far as like objet d'art and stuff like that, no.
All right.
They didn't.
I was just curious. Although that means it'd be a great place for Matron to steal stuff from.
Yeah. So what was Matron doing while the speech was going on? While Ernest was speechifying.
Yeah, I think I assume not all of the soldiers went to the speech.
Yeah, not
That would make sense.
not
All of them.
not many actually went.
I mean, I remember I was like going around saying like, Ernest wants you guys to be there, like, but so I would probably see if some of them around or be like, so Ernest is busy. We could just go type thing.
There's a fair few houses that are empty from people being at the meeting as well.
Yeah. So I probably just gathered a group of guys and like, let's just, get our share. Be done with it.
Okay. So, where are you going to do this?
I don't know. Is Path Askew like big enough to have like a wealthy district? Or yeah,
Sounds like he has a
I'd
merchant
probably be
district.
heading. Yeah, I'd probably be heading into that area.
Okay.
Just to like, because that would probably be the easiest to pick off.
Are you going residential or commercial?
Probably residential.
Okay. So yeah, you and your group of people walk into a house.
May I interrupt? I specifically tried to spread the word with 6 dice, not to loot. Do you think that he should roll to convince them to obey him more than me?
Yeah, that sounds fair.
I would like
if
to
you want to
give
get those guys
Sith one more. I think Sith deserves an advantage die for that because we already established that while I am sort of closer with the chain with like the higher ups, he sort of tends to be closer to the common everyday merc soldier.
Yeah, he's friends with the rank and file.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I wasn't really thinking this was anything that like is like an order coming from me.
Yeah,
like this is more of like a hey, why don't we just get some money? That sounds like a good idea.
It might be that like they seem reluctant because they've heard that Ernest is
right.
Like,
but I'm trying to angle more for persuade than command.
Oh yeah, it's totally a persuade.
Okay.
Yeah. You're not saying get your gear. We're going on a looting mission. You're saying, hey, this place is open. Let's go get some shit. You guys in?
Right.
Because I'm sure if they say no, you're still going to go do it anyway. So.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Under. So I had one modifier for advantage.
Yes.
Okay.
And it's for persuade because it's their will.
Yeah. Okay, I think it's something different. Okay. There we go.
Well, shouldn't it be against whatever Ernest rolled before?
No, it's still their will. I think it's still
yeah.
Their will is 4?
Yep.
Yeah. Probably not going to be good. Nope.
No. Yeah, they've heard that Ernest has put his foot down about this, and they're like, we really don't want the trouble. If Ernest is talking about this, then Wiggins is probably on board with it. He might not look like much, but you ever see Wiggins pissed? It's not fun.
Okay. I guess he just sort of like, you're lost, like.
More for me. All right, so you're still going?
Yeah, well, I realized when I was trying to find forks for this roll that I actually have fat merchant wise. So could I could I use some sort of wise check to find the best place in Path Askew to loot?
Sure.
Oh my goodness, I hope it's Ernest's mansion, but you don't recognize that it's Ernest's mansion. You've never been there.
Yeah, I've never seen it in the day.
You've never seen it at all, I think. Like, you've seen it, but you don't know that it's his.
Right.
You've never visited there while he was there.
So what is your intent here? To
find the best merchant type place to loot with minimal risk. To sort of like that risk reward thing, I want to try and find that optimal medium.
All right.
I'll give you options for a fail.
I have an idea if it's a failure. You can accept or deny these terms, but if it's a really bad failure, he goes to Ernest's mansion after I'm done the speech and hitting there myself.
Oh, yeah.
Does Ernest have his own mansion?
At Edwin's mansion.
I'm
Unless
like,
you bought
what?
me a mansion.
I don't think I can afford to buy you a mansion.
Look, the power's getting to my head, okay?
Okay, it's yours now.
my mansion now, man.
You have taken it. Like possession
Martial law
is
for like 10 minutes
right?
already?
Yeah.
You're gonna come back and like Whaleston Manor is gonna be like on the gate, and it's gonna be like scratched out. It's gonna say Buck Manor.
Pretty much. Apparently.
If only I could read.
Come back and make sure. And Ernest is like peeing in a corner, and he's like, "This is mine now."
Okay.
So yeah, I guess 3 sounds about right for the wise. Or actually, no, we'll do it. We can do it graduated, and like the better you get, the better the house is.
Okay. Well, I only have a 2 in the wise, so this is going to be interesting.
I think you should
Roll
get
a
to fork
6.
some stuff into there.
Are there anything you can fork into that?
You have observation.
That'll help.
Appraisal?
I don't. Nope. I actually don't know what's valuable. It's just, ooh, shiny.
Yeah. All of the fool's
Okay.
gold, all of the pirates.
I
Comes
can't
back
see
with
the
a
character
stack of
sheet.
chamber pots. He's like, "These are great."
Any other wises? Like maybe, like there's a sea merchant who has a house here.
Yeah, because all my other wises deals with, like, being on the ocean or on a boat. So,
Okay.
We're
I
not
don't
on the
think I have-
ocean, so
yeah, I'm, like, really out of my element, so just having this wise, I think, is awesome.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's any forts. I might use a fate if I get any 6s, but no persona.
Okay.
And we're doing this, is it graduated or 3?
I think graduated. Like the better you get, the better you are at figuring this out. Okay,
Ooh.
so
You try and steal from the jail.
so there is this really nice house that you see sort of in the center of town.
Okay.
You're like, ooh, I can see it's a fair distance away from the gallows. Let's go
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. Well, I totally
Yeah.
go in.
It's got like a flagpole out front, and flying from the flagpole.
It says some sort of manor outside, but you can't read, so...
Flags are important, and therefore this house is important. So it's totally legit. Good
Yeah,
logic.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I think at some point you hear, like, you're just picking your way through the house, probably on one of the upper floors, and you hear the door open,
Mhm.
and a very familiar sound of metal footsteps wandering through the house.
Okay.
Probably coming to the second floor, actually.
I kind of want to, since this was like no successes, I kind of want to do this whole thing where like you probably like come up the stairs or like around the hallway, and you just hear this like weird scraping, and it's just me like with a stack, just kind of like going like
sort of
hop,
frozen.
like yeah, you know, so like totally caught me red-handed.
Okay. So, I'm loyal to Lord Edwin. And I just came up the only exit, aka the stairs.
There's no
Right.
fire code in this town. What the hell?
There are windows, like it's
There are
okay.
windows. It's a second floor, so it's second floor, so it's not ridiculous.
You can
It's
survive
totally
the fall from the second story. Don't worry.
Yeah, even if the
There
house
are
is built.
many hay bales right next to my house.
I was figuring like rose bushes with thorns and shit.
No, only if you
That's-
fail the die of fate. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see what's in season.
And next to the rose bushes is this nice compost pile that'll totally break your fall.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so I think Ernest just sort of like stares for a second at Ernest at Matron, just trying to figure out what's going on, and then
I guess it is one of those like
Ernest immediately draws his weapon. He doesn't advance or anything. Just sort of like calmly.
It's completely silent.
Do you know where you are? You're in Lord Edwin's manor. The person that I'm paid to protect and follow the orders of. And the house that I was planning to use as my base of command until these soldiers arrive from Palawo Borat.
I think Matron like sort of looks around and nods. He's like, that explains a few things.
Would you mind putting some of those things back, please?
I think there's like a glint in his eye. He's like, I could put a few back.
Ernest just stares.
Didn't say some. Didn't say all.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I think at this point he's going to try and redirect and say, how did that speech go? Were the mass of people...
Put them down, matron, then we can talk. Speech went fine.
Oh, it went that bad, eh? Okay.
See, I was planning to come back here and have one of the soldiers write a letter to Lord Edwin. I don't suppose you want me to tell him that you were looting his place, do you? I'm sure the organization wouldn't be fond of that.
Looting is such an ugly term.
It is. I wonder why I keep doing it.
I prefer the term opportunistic profiteering.
Right?
I mean, it's not like he's burning the place down. Come on.
Yeah.
That's for after.
He's just got a couple of gilded mirrors and like
yeah, a painting of like Lord Edwin's father is like probably there. And you're like, oh, that's why he looks so familiar.
That's why.
Thought I knew that dude.
But yeah, Ernest is just sort of like he is single-minded right now. He is going. He's going to wait and see what Matron does next, but then his instinct might become a thing.
Yeah. So I'm not sure how he would handle this. He wants to try and squirrel and worm his way out, but I'm not quite sure how. That would be really hard.
Well, you could just like say you have like well, Edwin's an archaeologist. He's probably got something akin to a Ming vase. You just like throw it at Ernest and be like, catch, and then
Maybe
take
like,
off.
You just take the vase, like, okay, let me just put it back. And you start going down the stairs, put it back, and then you just run out the door.
Yeah. I think maybe he wants to try and say like if your speech went that bad and everyone out there is not so happy with what's going on, maybe we should like sort of divvy and share some of this with everyone, just to ease everyone's suffering a bit, type thing. And so, yeah, he's going to try and...
He is... Oh, no, this is actually quite interesting.
Yeah.
So you're offering to give some of Lord Edwin's stuff to the townsfolk.
Yes. In addition to myself and the soldiers.
Equal shares. Everyone gets an equal share.
Everyone gets an equal share. Let's spread the spoils to everyone. Even though the shares are theirs originally. Still gets spread out to everyone. But I'm not phrasing it that way.
Very slightly tempted. Very slightly tempted by that.
Well, are you still broken in?
Would you like... I don't know.
Do we want to see
you can try to persuade him.
I'm just trying to think if this is something
Would you be up for that?
persuaded about. Because there are both... The thing is, this goes against two of his goals.
Oh, okay.
Well...
he's loyal to Lord Edwin.
That doesn't mean you don't roll on it. That means we do roll on it to see how much you believe in it.
Well,
Yeah.
I thought that we choose about regarding the do we want to choose whether or not a persuade is rolled or not?
If we could turn it into some kind of verses, I think it would be better. Rather than just going straight against his will. That way he's got like
Yeah.
a chance. But I mean, it does feed into your whole well, didn't you have something about the town welcoming
I want
you
the
for who
town
you
to
are?
welcome me.
Yeah.
It is true that I don't know. Like,
I mean, no better way to placate peasants than throw gold at them.
well, the thing is, I want them to welcome me for who I am rather than for Lord Edwin's representative, and giving them Lord Edwin's stuff might be the opposite of that. Might make them accept me as Lord Edwin's representative rather than for Ernest.
But giving away Lord Edwin's stuff probably doesn't sit well in the representative wheelhouse, since you're like stealing his shit and giving it away.
Would they know I'm stealing it, though?
I know, but you would.
This is true. Okay, yeah, let's make it some sort of verses. So we just do like you do persuade and I'll do a roll to try and...
Well, I guess what is your end intent here, right?
Yeah, my intent is to get you to stop, to put everything down. I don't think I'm going to make my intent as difficult as stop looting altogether, because that is anathema to your entire being, is what Ernest's view is. But he does want you to leave Edwin's manor without bringing anything that isn't already yours, that wasn't yours when you entered. He doesn't care about the other loot anymore. He just wants you to not loot Ernest's or Edwin's place. So I could roll like a intimidation if you want to roll persuade.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we'll just make it versus, and whoever beats out the other one wins the argument.
I would
sort
like
of a very, very, very small duel of wits.
Yeah.
Almost, basically. I would like to fork command. I think that's it, because you're not a soldier, not in the traditional sense, are you?
No,
I'll just fork that. Okay.
So I got persuade.
No, I don't think command works for you. Intimidate, fork command, yes, but command, fork, intimidate, I think it's more intimidate than command. Okay, so I'll roll graduated. Okay. 2 6s.
Ooh.
Intimidate. I'm gonna spend a fate. Damn.
Well, you had the +1 ob still because you're tired.
I am.
So I think that's only
would that? Yeah, that's 2 successes basically.
2 successes. Okay.
Yep.
I'm not sure if I get like a falsehood fork or if I'm just a straight persuade right now.
Are you lying to me about anything?
Yeah, because you're not being upfront about what your reward
Right.
is.
I
would
don't
say
think.
yes.
Okay. Well, was I lying or was I trying to extort Ernest into like getting better with the people or not?
I think it might be both.
I think it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it would be primarily extortion for in terms of the reason why this might succeed. But I think it makes sense to fork falsehood.
So I wasn't really intimidating. I was being very uber friendly.
Yeah, you were being evasive.
Disarming.
One might even say, crap. Blanking. Never mind.
So that was 2 forks?
One might even say soothing platitudes.
Right. One might, but I wouldn't. The base odd is 2. Ooh.
Yep. Okay, so Matrim's argument starts ringing a little true in Ernest's ears.
So are these the same, then? Because you said your ob was 2 as well? Oh, no, I see because mine counters... Okay. You got 1 success more than me, basically.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this isn't mind control, but his idea seems to make sense to Ernest. That there is some merit to this.
There's some merit to trying to butter up the townspeople with free stuff.
I haven't been explicitly ordered not to... I think Ernest's thing is going to be he's going to look the other way. As long as, like, it's sort of implied that he wants you to do that, that he's saying yes, but he doesn't want any part of it. Or he doesn't want to admit to himself that he has had any part in this. I think that he... What does he do in that case?
Do you want to think about it for a few minutes?
I would, actually.
Yeah, we can go to break and then come back and figure it out.
This is interesting for Ernest.
I will be back in a few minutes.
Yeah, let's go to a break.
Okay.
Back in 5 minutes. See you guys soon.